Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your hosts, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and good Tuesday afternoon to all of you out there, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Mortgage Pro there at McKinley Team, Big Fish Real Estate Group, at Lake Martin, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, and J.A. Smith Construction, both residential and commercial. Brett and Randy here with you for your lunch hour, and we're glad that you've joined us. You can comment, have anything that you'd like to say right there on Sports Blitz's Facebook page. That's Sports with a Z. Obviously, you can call the show, 256-234-6221. A bunch that we want to get to today. I know David and I really kind of broke down A-Day yesterday. We had a great show, a lot of calls, a lot of people sending in comments, a lot of people fired up, Randy, about the football season and, you know, just the newness of Hugh Freeze and the staff. And even though it was a rain-soaked Saturday, you couldn't really tell a lot. They liked the energy of the team and kind of what they saw on the field. I know I'll get your remarks on that here in just a little bit. But today we're going to focus on what Hugh Freeze had to say about spring practice as a whole. We'll talk about that. We didn't even get a chance to get into baseball yesterday and softball. We'll dive into that some too. But, you know, yesterday you weren't on the show. The big news over the weekend was Auburn landing Denver Jones on the basketball side. We talked about him a little bit yesterday. This backcourt next year could be pretty special with Aiden Holloway and now Denver Jones, one of the top scorers in the country. And David's a big-time mid-range jump shot guy. He loves those guys. He thinks that part of the game's about evaporated, and it has. Well, Denver Jones, I told him, I thought of him immediately when I saw that. Top 5 in the country in mid-range jump shots. He's one of the top 5 mid-range jump shot guys in the whole country.
Well, let's give a reason on why it's changed so much. And you and I have seen it firsthand. It started really at the NBA level. Patino ran that same type of system at Kentucky and then moved on to Louisville and other places where the thought process was layup or three-point jumper. And we watched it firsthand in high school ranks with Bucky McMillan, who I think is a big Patino protege, really looks at what he did, and it changed the high school ranks around here. And you know, we've seen it in the college game, and for the most part, it goes off percentages, doesn't it?
It does.
And
it's just analytics.
It's analytics. So the question is, what's the percentage that I'm going to make on a 12-foot shot in comparison to the 18-footer? The 18-footer's worth 3, the 12-footer's worth 2. If I shoot both and there's only 5 percentage points difference between the two, then why in the world am I taking so many 12s? I hear you, David. I've seen the mid-range jumper. Brett and I had a good opportunity. I got a kid working for me right now that I think is exceptional with it, Quez Thompson, who played at Benjamin Russell, and he's one of those kids that's strong and physical enough to get a durable drive to 8 or 10 feet and then extend up and finish and knock down 2-point jumpers. I thought he's as good as I've seen in the high school ranks of pulling that off. And so, Brett, it's good to see. Here's where I am on Denver Jones, though. 20-plus points per game.
Yes.
FIU, I know it's not Ole Miss or Mississippi State, but we've seen what these mid-tier schools can provide from a scoring punch. We've taken advantage of that. Our 2 best players that's possibly returning are the same situation. Janai Broome, if Wendell Green comes back, those 2 guys are our 2 best offensive players. And where did they prove that they could score like that? At a mid-tier school. And so a great get, and we all are excited about Aiden Holloway.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden Holloway, again, Matt Donald's All-American, had 19 points in that game, really showed out, was one of the top 3 or 4 players in the whole game, and showcased his skill levels. And then you had Denver Jones, a guy that's got 2 years of eligibility left. He's long. He gives Auburn the length that they need out there in the backcourt. It's a good backcourt now. I mean,
it is.
You had these 2 guys in the mix, and then you had Trey Donaldson with what he was able to do toward the end of the season. KD possibly could be a guy to come off the bench if he chooses to stay. I don't think Wendell Green will be back. I think that ship sailed. He's pretty much already announced he's gone, and so he won't be back. But I mean, again, we're not going to be deficient in that category. I mean, Denver Jones was one of the top 20 transfer portal guys out there. A lot of teams wanted his services, and you can see why. Auburn had a long list of guards. I think they may take another one possibly, but he was priority for Bruce Pearl. Now I think Auburn shifts their focus to inside and maybe another big man and getting some help on the block.
Well, would love to see us get a lengthy center, an actual long, lengthy defensive center. I think anything.
Got one coming the next year. But.
Yeah, I think anything that takes Janai to the 4 defensively is going to be a great get for Auburn. I think Janai is going to get – I can only speculate that he's going to get thinner and a little bit more agile. He's already a super scorer down in the low post and can really take over games at times, but he's not a 5. And so any way that we can go out there and pull a 5 in, I think would be a massive get. And I know that we're all thinking back and hoping that Walker Kessler walks through the door again. I don't think we're going to get him to walk through again, Auburn. I hate to say it. If you've watched the way that man has played his first year in the NBA, I don't think any of us did you expect that from Walker Kessler?
Well, let's talk about it. Yesterday were a couple of graphics that came out, and I'll start with Walker Kessler since you brought him up. 9.2 points a game, 8.4 rebounds per game, almost 3 blocks per game, and shooting 72% from the field. He's the first player in NBA history to reach those numbers in a season. And then you flip up and look at Jabari Smith, and he's the first rookie in NBA history with 1,000-plus points, 500-plus rebounds, 50-plus blocks, and 100-plus three-pointers.
Yeah.
I mean, these two guys, man, and we knew what we had with these two guys on this team last year, but the way they've even developed even more just goes to show you, man, these guys are young. I mean, they're dynamic. They were great players in college, but, man, they're still young guys. And they're developing, and now they're in the NBA, and it's going to be fun to watch these guys for a while.
And Bruce Pearl has so much to sell with Walker Kessler because Walker Kessler was a 4-point-per-game guy at UNC, goes to North Carolina, and I watched him, and we watched him several times that year. And Walker's from Georgia. He's got a lineage of Georgia, but he's also got a lake house here at the Ridge, and they've got a place down on Windermere Road. So I've always known people that knew of Walker and really thought highly of his family and him. And so he's one that I always watched because we were really close at times, and the talk was around how much he loved Auburn, and Georgia really wasn't in the mix. So I kept my eye on him.
Right.
My point, though, is Bruce Pearl's the one that took him to that next level.
He did.
He's the one that got that confidence back to the skill set that he already had. And so, of course, he and Jabari love Auburn. Social media, anytime they have an opportunity to say something positive about Auburn, they do. But it's those bottom 2 stats for Jabari that separates him, and that's the
3-pointers
and the blocks.
Yeah.
When you've got the ability to go get that blocks and the 3-point jump shot, so you can do both of those things. And look at the difference between those two and the 3rd ranked in blocks as a rookie. They're way down there compared to those two.
Banchera possibly going to be the rookie of the year, but those two guys right there, I mean, their numbers.
They're 2 of the top 5 rookies in the league.
Right.
Both coming out of Auburn. Bruce Pearl can go sell that. I know that he already is selling it, but the more and more of those type of players that he gets, and they come here. And here's the thing about both of those guys. Neither one of those guys were top 2 or 3 prospects coming out of high school, were they? Jabari was a big-time prospect, but wasn't he around the 20th ranked prospect coming out of high school?
I'd have to look at it and see. I can't remember, honestly.
I don't remember him being –
I know Walker Kessler wasn't a superbly high guy. I mean, he was high, but he wasn't –
Oh, they're both McDonald's All-American type. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they weren't top 3 players, which is where they've become since coming to Auburn and then moving on. Isaac Okoro, remember him? He was like a 33rd or 35th ranked player coming out of high school.
Really
we're talking about like major 5-star type player. I'm not negating that, but when you go from a 30th ranked player to a top 3 pick, which is what Jabari Smith, I think, if you look back and you saw that, that's development, buddy, and that's what we're trying to sell. That's what Alabama sold on the football field so long. You want to go to the NFL? You want to be a top-rated linebacker? You better not look anywhere else.
Right.
You come over here, you play for Alabama.
Offensive line, defensive back, whatever.
And I think we're getting close to being able to sell that here at Auburn with basketball.
Yeah, no doubt. But kudos to those guys. The NBA season coming to a close. Neither one of them will be in the playoffs because they're, Utah just barely missed it. Houston was terrible, and but Jalen Green and him, and of course Jalen Green had it down to Auburn and the G League, and he chose the G League, so that potentially could have been another Auburn player there playing that's having a great season this year, and they're playing together and really kind of have gotten some continuity going over there. So building for the future over in Houston, and that's what you have to do sometimes. But yet again, Auburn. The number 2 or number 3, depending on which class or which ranking you're looking at in the 24 class, with Tahad Pettiford and then of course LeBaron Philon, who we talked about.
Mr. Basketball last week.
Yeah,
announced.
Yeah, and he's got another year coming back, and a guy that averaged almost 40 points a game in high school and is real fluid too.
Man, I went back and looked. We did a program on Saturday, and I wanted to go look and see when the last Mr. Basketball in the state went to Auburn. I couldn't get it back to 96. Maybe Doc Robinson.
It was Doc Robinson.
Was that 95?
Doc Robinson.
Doc Robinson's my age. I think he may be a year older than me.
Wasn't Doc Robinson on the – he was on the
You're more than welcome to pull it up and see if you can find one before me.
It's Doc Robinson.
I think it's 95 at Selma High School. Pull it up and see. We have not had one. Frankie Sullivan was not Mr. Basketball.
No, Frankie Sullivan wasn't Mr. Basketball. He was close.
Yeah, but he wasn't. And that was the only one that we could come up with. Right. But just about every year. I bet if you go back that far, and that's 28 some odd years ago, that there's about 15 Alabama kids that they got out of that 28. Auburn didn't get any. That's how big LeBaron Philon is. That's a huge get here in the state of Alabama.
Massive, no doubt. Up against our first break of the show. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz right after this.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic, from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
SCAG, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that SCAG means productivity and reliability. Every SCAG mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. SCAG.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. 45 minutes left in today's show. Get your calls in if you'd like to give us a call, 256-234-6221. You can comment away. Luke said Jabari was the number 7 player in 21, Kessler the 22 player in 2020, both easily 5 stars. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and
7's a little higher than I remembered, happily. You know, for Auburn to get anybody like that, I'm not arguing with you, Luke.
Speaking of memory, we don't have a very good memory, but there's a reason why, because we haven't had anybody on his list. I guess we just made up the fact that I for some reason
I thought I remembered that too.
We all remember Doc Robinson winning that award when he graduated, and obviously he didn't. So Auburn, according to the list, never has had a Mr. Basketball, and so you talked about that being a big deal before we went to the last break. Shoot. That is the deal. If LeBron Fallon comes to Auburn like he's already committed, that'd be the first one in Auburn history.
It's a wild stat, isn't it? And the award goes back to 1975. Now, there are 3 or 4 years in that mix where they didn't give out an award for whatever reason, but it goes back to 75, and a lot of the biggest names that have come out of the state of Alabama, of course, were named to this, and 23 recipients went to the University of Alabama. Now, there is a star that you need to put by that's 23 winners. Some won it multiple years in a row. Yeah. So it's just 23 different years that a University of Alabama player went on to win it.
Just showed you where the level of basketball was for Auburn.
It was.
I mean,
you know, you had a great question, which let's answer a few of the questions that you had, just because I'm kind of into this history stuff, and I know that a lot of our folks that like to watch out there are big-time recruitniks and have kept up with college football and college basketball for a long time. So one of your questions was, who won it when Charles Barkley was in high school at Leeds? Well, he lost it, and it was for good reason, because many of these guys were all McDonald's All-Americans, big-time names. Enos Watley from Phillips High School won it in 81. Buck Johnson from Hayes High School won it in 82. Terry Connor from Phillips High School again won it in 83. All 3 of those guys end up going to Alabama. You can go back. The first 6 recipients actually went to the University of Alabama, back to Reggie King at Jackson Olin in 75. Eddie Phillips at Parker in 78. Mike Davis, who moved on, was a coach there at Alabama, moved on to Indiana, took that team to a Final Four as a coach, following Bobby Knight there. And but Mike Davis playing at Fayette County High School, going to the University of Alabama, also was Mr. Basketball. Did not know that. Did you know that?
I didn't know he made it.
But I thought Doc Robinson, I thought I remembered him.
I think we all did. I think we just talked it up and made it.
So here are the answers to who won it in those years, and you'll remember these names. Brian Williams, who went to the University of Alabama, Jeff Davis. Isaac Spencer was the next year in 96, which was the year that I thought Doc won it. But it was actually Isaac Spencer from Jeff Davis. Davis, he went to Murray State, was kind of a big 6'6" inside post. We played Jeff Davis in high school.
Right.
Remember those two guys really well. There was another post player that was with Spencer to go along with Brian Williams that was exceptional.
So they had a great team back in those days.
They did, man. And Williams, he was ahead of his time shooting the basketball from well outside of the three-point arc.
I remember watching him in person a couple of times.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Talking about a jump shooter. He was a jump shooter.
He was. I remember playing him. He's a year from me, but I remember having a matchup with him and trying to defend him and trying to get out on him. And there was no getting out on him because he had no range. There was no problem range. And I remember he had 25 against us at half. One time here at the gym.
He had that a lot.
He did. He had 25 at half against us one night. I remember me and my buddy Wes, we were the ones defending him, and both of us didn't have a clue what to do with him. And it was because he was hitting shots that were just well beyond three-point arc. He was super. He was one of the best scorers that I can remember during the time that we were
Yeah, he was a phenomenal player at Jeff Davis. And but again, that's going back to why we got on this topic. LeBaron Fallon won Mr. Basketball last week as a junior from Baker High School, who's committed to Auburn in this 24 class, and apparently will be the first Mr. Basketball to ever come to Auburn, which is mind-blowing. To be honest, really. I know Auburn's basketball program has not been, anything to brag about back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, they had spurts. They had some years, obviously, and Auburn's had some good players, no doubt, from here and there, and that's been about it. Flashes in the pan, since you and I've been alive. If you want to go back and the Sonny Smith, the few years he had, and then the Cliff Ellis years for Auburn, and then then you get to where we are now. I mean, these are just little flashes. This is the longest sustained success that you and I have ever thought about seeing, and most any Auburn fan with what Bruce Pearl's done since he's been there. But you go back and look. There have been some horrific years, and not to just bash, but the coaches we've had. Tony Barbee, and I thought Jeff Lebo was a really good coach, and he brought brought his expertise from North Carolina. He's back on that staff now at North Carolina. They couldn't recruit. Tommy Joe Eagles, bless his heart, I know he's passed away, but those were some of the worst years of Auburn basketball that you can remember.
Cliff Ellis, the only thing he did was just play the game.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah, I never forget when Auburn let him go, my dad calling and going, how in the world do we finally get someone that's willing to go out there and play the underbelly, which was recruiting basketball players, and then
they fried us for it.
And then he's going to be the scapegoat for us. I'll never forget that conversation.
You remember that class before he left, and they all left?
Yes.
But the three he had coming in.
Oh, my gosh. He had Marco Killingsworth.
And Lewis Monroe.
Monroe, yes. He had Brandon Robinson.
The kid that went down to
the big
Florida
6'6", 6'7" lefty. Yeah,
Tony Douglas.
He had a great group.
Good God, man! If you'd put that on the floor following Chris Porter and all them.
Well, many of those were on the floor with Marquise Daniels the year that we actually lost to Syracuse, if you remember, in Sweet 16, and they were playing some key minutes. And most, I think, was Ellis there one more year after that?
One more.
And then left.
Then the hammer dropped.
Yeah.
And boy,
he was a good coach.
He coached at Clemson. He was pretty good there too. Then he went to Charleston, College of Charleston,
something like that.
And then he became a senior.
Yeah.
And then the rest
Did
was history. Well, I sang, had a CD, and
I didn't know that.
I can't remember. Anyway, I'll get us another break. Stay tuned. More Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Country Clipper zero-turn mowers are designed for comfort, accessibility, and ease of use. Only Country Clipper offers your choice of steering options with industry-exclusive joystick steering or twin lever steering. Their patented stand-up deck, standard on every model, allows for quick access to the underside of the deck for routine maintenance. With a wide front step and optional handrail, getting on or off your mower has never been easier. Stop by Fun Carts of Opelika today for a test drive. Country Clipper mowers, designed for you. Fun Carts of Opelika, located at 618 Lee Road 113 in Opelika, Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
No monthly payments for 90 days at Glenn Smith Buick GMC in Opelika. New GMC Sierra Crew Cabs discounted up to $10,000 off. New GMC Terrains up to $5,250 off. And new Buick Encore GX up to $4,750 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz, halfway through Tuesday's show, brought to you by Mortgage Pro. The Eric McKinley team saving everyone thousands of dollars out there on their refinancing, their mortgages, whatever you need help with. Consult them. You know, they'll sit down and talk to you about where you are with your mortgage right now, and if they think it's a good time to refinance, they'll help you out. Big Fish Real Estate Group at Lake Martin, what a great team of real estate agents to help you find the perfect piece of property wherever that may be, whether it be around Lake Martin or inside a city limit somewhere, or maybe down on the coast where everybody loves to go on vacation. Maybe you want to find a home down there. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores with 10 locations in central Alabama for all your home improvement needs, all your building supplies and resources. They are so competitive. They beat the big box store time in and time out. So make sure you go check on Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores. And J. Smith Construction, both residential and commercial. Talked to Alexander this past week. They are booked through the end of 23 with jobs. That's I mean, that just tells you right now, you know, there's not a lot of people that that are reliable and trustworthy to go out and get jobs done. And when you have a reputation, you get flooded. And I told him the other day, I said, that's a good problem to have. He said, yeah. He said, I could take this much more business if I had the capacity to do it. So, but they do work people in. So if you're needing residential and commercial work, call on J. Smith Construction. It just kind of tells you where everything is right now, man. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Don't start that.
Yeah, let's go over to some Auburn football. He Coach Freeze has some takeaways from spring practice. Spring practice over. Coach Freeze. We'll start with offensive line, and offensive line definitely improved. Here's his quotes. He said, I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to have a decent line. No question we've made improvements from last year to now. That's a kind of a loaded statement because we weren't very good to begin with, but he is high on this line, Randy. I want to look at this depth chart we talked about yesterday and go down through here because we're going to see an entirely different offensive line. Starting at left tackle, Dylan Wade, a transfer that came in. Again, this transfer portal is going to help boost Auburn and get them out of a dark, deep hole that they were dug into by Brian Harsin in the end of Gus Malzahn's tenure. Left guard, it looks like maybe Jeremiah Wright. I think we're all excited about Jeremiah Wright and what he brought to the table last year. He was physical, had an edge, really the only guy we saw up there playing the position the way it should. You got two really good players lining up at center right here. Avery Jones, the transfer, Illinois, Brett Bielema thought they had him, and Auburn was able to come in at the last minute and grab him. It really pissed him off. And, he had some things to say about Auburn, but nevertheless, really had a good A-Day. And then you got a true freshman in Connor Lew who really has been the talk of Hugh Freeze and this offensive staff all spring. One of the strongest guys on the team already and had a phenomenal A-Day game. And big words from Hugh Freeze saying he could possibly be one of the best offensive linemen Auburn's ever had by the time he leaves.
Well, the beauty of the offensive line playing in the interior right there is he won't sit behind Avery Jones long. They'll move him to guard. They'll find him a position.
Find a spot, yes.
If he's one of the top 2 or 3 and he just happens to be with the top offensive lineman that we've got, and many expected Avery Jones to probably be that top offensive lineman. If you watch the way that people talked about him and what people had said with him coming in. But Connor Lew, a great get for Auburn there, and I'll bet you anything he'll find his way into the starting lineup.
Right. This is where they're listed going into the summer, but you're right. He's going to find his way on the starting line. Tate Johnson right now at right guard, which is we saw him early in the season. We're excited about he was actually playing center because of injury, and he got hurt himself early in the season. We didn't get to see him. So very high on him being healthy. You got Cam Stutz, who's a good lineman behind him there at that guard position. And then at right tackle, another transfer from Western Kentucky, Gunnar Britton. We saw him last year, a phenomenal big kid over there on the right side. And then he's backed up by one of the top JUCO linemen in the country in Xavion Miller. So, Randy, they got some depth here. And I can see why Coach Freeze is a little bit high on this. And I said this to David, and kind of brace yourself. Could be one of our strong suits on this year's teams, our offensive line.
If it is in that quick a turn, he's going to surprise all of us. And if you want to get the Auburn faithful behind you in year one, it's, yes, of course, if you come in like Gus Malzahn did and you burn it up and you win a lot of football games, we'll all get behind. But here's one thing that I thought is the reason that we got behind Cadillac so much at the end of the year.
Right.
It got back to our culture. It got back to our MO, who we all think that we are, physical, downhill running. Let's go out there and let's find great running backs, and let's make it tough and make teams not want to play us. And what Hugh Freeze is talking and the way that he's making this a priority to his team and to his recruiting efforts and offensive line is something so many of us have been pleading.
He ain't sleeping, man.
We've been pleading for this for a decade.
Yeah, he's not sleeping.
Because Gus Malzahn really started this issue with the offensive front. You know, he inherited a pretty decent group of offensive linemen.
And never replaced them.
Never really changed it. I mean, we can all go back to one single player that we all bring up that was a great get for Auburn, Braden Smith. Outside of that, none.
That was really it. Jim with a pretty lengthy comment here. He said Auburn football has 92 players on the roster with the 23 class signed. With the portal opening soon, a new coach's wish list of a quarterback or two, a couple offensive linemen, a couple wide receivers, a couple defensive linemen. That being said, to get Auburn all those players from the portal and start the fall with 85 scholarship players, a lot of current players have to go. How many current Tigers enter the portal, and if you had to cut players, who would they be? That's a good question.
Well, first
Jim.
off, I trust Jim's opinion more than mine or yours, because Jim is a football coach by trade, and Jim's got a great eye. I said this, and with Jim on there, I said it on Saturday, but I didn't use his name. But Jim had the opportunity to go over, and he saw a lot of offensive line, and he saw our play last year, and he comes back, and I trust his opinion as much as anyone out there, and he said, this offensive line, y'all,
night and day.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. I'm talking about last year.
Yeah, last year.
And you and I, being the way that we are, glass half full, we're hoping. Man, I hope he isn't right. I hope it's better than that. And it was bad. Now, he goes over and he has seen some practices and he's been around, and he says the total opposite with this group. So I trust his opinion, and I'm not saying that it's at the top of the SEC caliber now, because he hasn't had time to go out and recruit those type of guys. But if it's above average play at the offensive line, it's going to be way better than what we've had.
Well, and E. Freeze even went on to say, he said, even with a decent line in this league, you can look bad at times because the defensive front's so good. But being a decent line can win you a lot of games, and that's what he said too. And I think that's kind of where we are going into the fall, which is very refreshing to hear. Against another break, stay tuned. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
L&G Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
WF Cabinetry in Alex City has immediate openings for first and second shift production roles in addition to immediate openings for Class A CDL drivers with the ability to be at home weekly. We are ready for you to join our family and grow with us. Prior cabinet experience is always welcome. Second shift offers a flexible 10-hour, 4-day work schedule, giving you a great work-life balance right here at home. WF Cabinetry offers excellent health insurance and 401k benefits, as well as an employee purchase discount with daily production bonus opportunities. You can apply in person at 2212 Airport Boulevard in Alexander City or call 256-234-7900.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Couple segments left in today's show. We'll get back to this football. Q Freeze comments now that spring practice is wrapped up. Ty said Cliff Ellis is still coaching at Coastal Carolina. He said, I also thought Wesley Person won Mr. Basketball, and he didn't. Again, we looked on that list up and down, so couldn't find anything. Also, and now's a good time as any to mention this. Ty said, how's Andy doing? Is he still in the hospital? We can proudly say no. He is not in the hospital any longer. He was able to come home this past week, and at home I went by to spend some time with him. He looks outstanding. So, and I'm sure he's watching the show right now, and I told him in person, I'll say it here, he actually looks better than he did before. And I told him that. So, and so I think he's like, I don't know how to take that. But anyway, but that's a really good thing.
That is good.
And he's getting stronger and healthier, and again, hopefully have him back sooner than later. So that's definitely his anticipation anyway. So
there will be a party thrown.
There's no doubt. Yep.
By the R&B media crew when he gets back up here.
Silly string and all kind of stuff going out here. So, but yeah, keep getting better, Andy. We can't wait to have you back, man. And I know he's appreciative of all the people that have asked, and so many of y'all have. I know that's huge. You know, whether it be commenting, calling, or seeing us out in public.
Well, many times we haven't had an answer. You know, it's been kind of a fluid situation, and luckily we have seen Andy come back from a situation similar to this in years past, and he came back stronger than ever then, and hopefully they get it all figured out this time, and he's back with us for many more decades to come after that. But we will hope to have him back up here sooner than later.
And John said that's saying something, because Andy is devastatingly handsome. No doubt, John.
He and I like to stay on each other about which one of us is starting to look the oldest. And the older we get, the more that we look at. When I look myself in the mirror, it's like, God, man, what happened?
Well, it's every day, man, every day. Anyway, we'll go back. Thanks, Ty, for that. I know we appreciate that from you and John, for sure. So, Hugh Freeze comments on spring practice now that Auburn's wrapped up. Moving over to the defensive line, he said, you know, there's one good thing about having a good offensive line, and you run the ball in a day. He said, the thing I'm waking up about now is we can't stop the run. He said, I think after today what's on my mind is we got to stop the run. You can't win in this league if you can't stop the run, and we didn't stop it very well today. 292 yards rushing. Those are sack-adjusted yards, too, so we're more yards than that Auburn ran for in a 60-minute running clock game where it was pouring rain. They only threw the ball 12 times, so you knew you were going to run the football. But that being said, the defense knew they were going to run the football.
And still could.
And
6 yards per carry. You know, you look down at the stats for all of the backs, there wasn't a back that had a negative game. You know, Jackson had 77 yards on 13 carries. Justin Jones, 50 yards on 11. Jarquez Hunter only carried it 4 times but had 27 yards. Austin, 43 yards on 5 carries. And Brian Batty, 32 yards on 7 carries. I'll take those stats with any of those.
Then you got Jeremiah Cobb coming in in this class, and he's going to have something to say. I mean, you're looking at 6, 7 running backs back there, and tremendous. I mean, you got high praise from Hugh Freeze on Jarquez Hunter, and again, I know this is a statement when you have to take it with a grain of salt, but he said he's the best running back I've ever coached.
Yeah.
And I know he didn't coach a boatload of good ones at Ole Miss. Didn't have much at Liberty, but, you know, Jarquez Hunter showed signs last year as the guy. He's physical, Randy. He's got deceptive speed. So he kind of gives you a little bit of everything. And, you know, he was banged up a little bit last year, and, you know, if he gets healthy and you see what he can do and you add some depth back there and you get an offensive line that can actually open some holes, man, he could be a good thing for Auburn.
I'm a big fan of Damari Alston.
He looks the part for sure.
I think he's not a massive guy by no means.
But he's what you want.
He's a bowling ball. He really appears to be one of those guys like a Peyton Barber.
Right.
You know, like a Ben Tate type of player to me that I think may get overshadowed somewhat by Jarquez Hunter, but when his time, Cameron Artis-Payne, when his time comes that he starts getting carries, he may be better than Jarquez. I like him. Every time he touches the football, I'm like, let's have him a little bit more.
I said this yesterday, and I actually Holden Gerner, I used the analogy there. You know, Gerner was a 4-star, you know, highly ranked quarterback, and everybody's kind of like, well, you know, we kind of got Holden Gerner over there. Well, you know, everybody's been bragging on him being able to throw it. Well, I remember a 4-star guy out of Florida that was a running back, and everybody kind of said, well, we didn't really get many running backs in this class. It's Trey Mason guy.
Yeah.
Well, not only did Trey Mason far exceed expectations, he was in the final 3 for the Heisman and broke the SEC championship game record for rush, became one of our better backs. If you look at numbers and you look at all time for Auburn, Trey Mason's up there, man.
If you had a 4th down and 2 yards to go, who are you giving the football to?
I'm giving it to him.
I am too. You know, he had that special something about him.
He always found a way.
They just found a crease and got first downs, and once he wore you down, he could go out there and make the big play too.
He made too good of a run in the national championship game.
Too good.
Ran over the guy.
Yeah.
I wish he'd have just tripped up. You know, if he'd have tripped up, we'd have won the game. The guy was so daggum tired he couldn't tackle him. He run over him and ran into the end zone. But anyway, you know, that's kind of what I'm looking at with maybe a Damari Alston. You know, it's a 4-star running back. Out of the state of Georgia.
I really like
that. A lot of people have just said, well, we got Damari Alston back there. Well, we hadn't had a chance to see him good yet.
No.
And, I mean, Holden Gerner, he might be the quarterback. We don't know yet. I mean, he hasn't really had much time with this staff. They really bragged on his accuracy that he threw in pro day. I mean, he was a 4-star for a reason.
I think Robbie Ashford's a guy.
I mean, he could be.
I think he's going to be the guy.
I'm just saying, don't diminish Holden Gerner. He's got talent.
I'm not, but Ashford's impossible to watch in an 8-day system like this and see exactly what he can do. Something tells me Hugh Freeze knows exactly what he's got there.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some quarterbacks when we come back. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Kalijah Idol 15, the finale, is happening next Saturday night, April 22nd, in the River Region at Alabama's Little Bit of Texas in Wetumpka. Who will be crowned as the next Kalijah Idol? Find out next Saturday.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce, because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
OGS Tournaments. WrestleMarine and State Farm agent Aaron Warren presents Crank for Bank 2023, April 1st through July 4th. Win over $1.5 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 50 tag crappie are waiting on you. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or shores of Lake Martin. Get registered now online at crankforbank.com for only $110 for 13 weeks of fishing. It's Crank for Bank 2023.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogrooom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true, and the names have been changed because Brubaker Motors has sold to Sons Automotive. You heard right. Brubaker Kia is now Sons Kia of Montgomery. Furthermore, Sons Automotive is a family business with dealerships throughout the Southeast. The name Sons Automotive is synonymous with trust, and they care about the communities they're a part of. They're excited to serve the River Region, and in the interest of justice, you will be served a sentence of big savings. Sons Kia of Montgomery, family owned, family driven.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz final segment here on the show. Get your comments in. If you'd like to call us, you got just a few more minutes to get that in. 256-234-6221. Kyle said, how did the junior day visit for Malcolm Simmons go, and is Auburn going to be a factor for him? I definitely think so. He's going to be one of the top players, one of the top players in next year's class. So he's going to garner a lot of interest. He's already gotten an offer from Arkansas. Looks like his next offer may be on the horizon. I won't say anything about that. It's not out yet. So, but Auburn definitely, he'll be coming back to camp this year at Auburn. I know he's visited Georgia, Alabama, Auburn. I've been to Florida. He's been everywhere. I mean, he's a top. We see him, Randy, every week, and he's a phenomenal athlete, and he's going to get plenty of offers. We'll see how it ends up playing out with Auburn. Some more comments here as we close out for Hugh Freeze, and first of all, he said high praise for the kicking game. Was very proud of Alex McPherson, the way he kicked the ball in a monsoon, and just could not say enough good things about Oscar Chapman and what a weapon he's going to be for Auburn this year punting the football.
Well, he's been great so far, and hey, us going and pulling in Australian punters has worked out
Aaron
for us.
Sippis, who punts for Philadelphia now, and then now Chapman, been good. All right, so to the quarterback, here's what Hugh Freeze said about the quarterback situation, and I didn't put all the quotes down, but basically saying we will actively seek another quarterback when the portal opens. He said, we're not proven in the room right now that we have that any of those quarterbacks have done that to this to the level that we need them to do. And I mean, he's just being brutally honest. He said, I think we can win games with these guys, but should a dynamic guy come available that we think is a proven commodity, I think we would have to at least look at that. So what does that tell you when you read into that? It pretty much, to me, says if I have to go out and make one of these guys my guy, I will. But if there's a dynamic guy, I'm going to go out there and grab him.
I think he needs to say that, knowing that there are several guys he's probably already got fillers out for.
Right.
And needs to let it be known that he's still actively pursuing someone. I don't think anybody's surprised to hear that. Do I think he's got somebody there at Auburn that he can win with, and he's proven in a system that he can build, can win with? I believe that. I think Robbie Ashford's that guy. I could be proven wrong. If he doesn't get better with his accuracy, he's not the guy. But if he can get better with the accuracy, with the arm strength that he has and the ability to run and make plays that he's already proven, and how tough I think that he can be physically,
right,
with the right coaches. And did you watch what Robbie Ashford said? I mean, he pretty much said,
yeah,
I don't want to be – I don't want to say anything bad about the previous staff, but I think I wasn't getting coached up to the level that
I think so. I think everybody kind of understood that everybody started fresh.
So I think he feels good. My point is, though,
Yeah.
I think both of these statements, if taken the wrong way, could be that he has no confidence whatsoever.
No.
But then you watch what Robbie Ashford said. And
No, I think he believes in the guys. I think he's saying, look, honestly, we don't know. And that I'm going to be open and honest with you, and I'm going to tell you that, yeah, we're going to actively pursue maybe bringing somebody else in. Doesn't mean that they're going to get the job because we go out and get them, but don't be surprised if you have another addition in
if
the
a
room.
Russell Wilson's on the horizon, then we're going to have to go and make that happen.
All right, so you look at, and I've said this before, and I know with Georgia spring going on and then the portal opening up, my dad was right. It wasn't May, it's April 15th, which is around the corner. So the portal will open up. Brock Vandagriff, you better watch him over at Georgia. I know that they got three superbly talented quarterbacks at Georgia, and all going to stay there. And, there's just been a lot of smoke around the possibility of Vandagriff. Florida is very high on this guy. Now, again, this is a guy that ain't even said he's going in the portal. But that's just the way it is now. Mm-hmm. I think Auburn has expressed a lot of interest in, if they had to pick one, that's who they'd go look at. If he doesn't win the job or feel like he's going to win the job, or it's going to be down to him and somebody else, he may say, look, I can go somewhere and I know I can start. And, Florida is definitely one of those schools. They just lost Richardson, and you look over at Auburn right now, and there's some uncertainty there. Don't be surprised. I'm just saying that's a name for everybody to kind of keep an eye on there. I still hear Grayson McCall's name come up from Coastal Carolina. I don't know if that'll work out. I know it was an academic thing, something with his transfers, and we didn't have what it needed. Some kind of crap. I don't know what it was. But anyway, we didn't get him. And then now maybe they've re-looked at that, and they can figure out how to fix that. That could possibly be an idea of bringing somebody in. Also, I've heard some other names mentioned as well. We don't have enough time to go into that, but I just wouldn't be surprised from the smoke. I mean, if Vandagriff ended up at Auburn or Florida.
Well, I think a place like Auburn that hasn't been recruiting at a top 5 level, but potentially could be a top 10 level recruiting school year in and year out. We've fallen off a little bit, but that's going to open up some opportunities, because what that's allowed is places like Alabama and Georgia just to get too many. I mean, when you get over to Alabama and you got 4 of them to pick from, you may be able to sell 2 of them to hang around and stick in there, but you're not going to convince 3 or 4 quarterbacks.
And Alabama's got a competition. Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe, and they're going to be. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how all that plays out for them. But
whichever one of them don't win the job, you think they both hang around? I think they may for a year.
Maybe 1 year.
I don't think you'll see both of them stay around if one of them were to come through next year.
I tell you what,
an outstanding year.
I tell you what, Auburn does have to look forward to is Walker White. This kid on the recruiting trail right now, on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. And all these kids he's going after, and then watching his press conference and the leadership that he's already exuding. This kid, man, he's the real deal, man. And you can go watch a film on him. He's exciting. That's an exciting pickup for you freaks. They were getting his commitment for next year's class. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Auburn Blitz. We'll be back on the air tonight for Sports Blitz Live, 7 to 9. For Andy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll be happy to see you next time.